Nathan, can you smell that? Can you smell the Thanksgiving food we have cooking in the other room?
Those rolls.
Well, I'm trying to lose weight. That's a little Bob Hope humor for you. Nathan, what's your favorite kind of Thanksgiving food?
Rolls. No, our family always does chicken and dumplings.
Oh, you're not a turkey family.
Well, if it's just my wife and I, and like we go to her mom's or something, then it definitely is turkey. But my family, any event where there's everyone together, is always chicken and dumplings. It doesn't matter what the common cultural expectation is. We do chicken and dumplings.
Okay.
And rolls.
Okay, all right. You talking those Pillsbury? You gonna pop that can?
Oh no, I'm talking.
Okay.
Proof. I'm talking proof. These bad boys. Pop over yeasty. I want yeast. As much yeast as you can get in these bad boys.
You somehow got a vaginal infection last Thanksgiving. You ate so many.
I was putting them in every hole.
Okay. So you are listening to Network Special, of course, a podcast about the golden age of appointment-based television. That was an era that when something was on TV, you had to watch it when it was on. And now, thanks to the magic of the internet, we can watch these specials again and again and again. I am your co-host, Zachariah, joined by my favorite pilgrim. Who?
Nathaniel
Goody Shear.
Yes.
And then maybe my favorite native person. Who's our producer?
What's that list like? Hold on. First of all, what's that list? How many on that list?
Producer Jeremy. Sacagawea.
Okay. All right. Okay.
John Redcorn. Sitting Bull. And then me. Quite the group. The only kind of thing I would expect from colonizers.
Yes.
And today we are talking about the biggest, even bigger than chicken and dumplings, the biggest ongoing tradition of Thanksgiving. We're talking the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Can you handle it? Nathan, shut up for 1 second. I have had an obsession with this parade ever since I became aware of it as a wee child. And there's just something about it that I've continued a love for it because it is the strangest, most garish, most obvious product placement thing you can think of. Parading down the greatest city in America, New York City, in front of the Macy's department store.
Yes. And I hate this thing and have always hated it.
What? A tradition since 1924? You never even watched it as a kid?
Well, back in the 20s, I was, out in the streets mostly.
You didn't like the big cigar balloon in 1924? The float of the opium den?
I've always said the thing that Nathan hates the most is product placement. He cannot stand it.
Oh, it's brutal. No, I you know what? I probably liked it more as a kid, but just I hate it. My family has to watch it, and it's just so boring. Like,
let me be very clear. This thing is too long. It's not good, but it is so overwrought and strange. I love it. I can't do without it, and it's always it's too long. But what are you gonna do? And they add an extra unnecessary hour to it as well that we'll get into.
I'm like the nostalgia of it, or whenever it's on and you're in the room and you're I'm typically in a warmer place, that coziness with family and stuff. I like that part of it, although I live in Florida now, so it's hot everywhere. But that part of it I like, but normally I'm just doing anything else while it's on.
Well, I think that's pretty normal, though. This is like hearing it is just Pavlovian for me, to where I am transmitted to, like you said, that warm house on a brisk day. And I think it's meant to be.
You know me. I got to freaking get to the football.
No, I know.
I'm a footballaholic.
No, I know.
Yeah, so anything gets in the way of my pigskin.
You're watching it going, put the dog show on. Because, of course, the Westminster Dog Show comes on after the parade every year. You want to see them pooches run.
I actually, ever since and now it's not as interesting as it was when it first happened, but ever since that guy from Seinfeld started doing it, Jay Peterman, it was interesting. The dog show was interesting, although he's lost his charm for me.
I sincerely thought you were doing a bit.
No,
I didn't know. That guy really did it?
Yeah, the guy who plays Jay Peterman has become one of the announcers on the show. And at first, when he was doing it, it was clear that he didn't know anything about the dogs. So he would just make strange comments like, "Oh, this one here, you can't tell if it's the head or the butt," things like that. Just actual funny things. And now it's like, now he knows what he's doing, and so it's like, oh, okay.
It was something that his agent got him roped into, automatically became like a sweet payday every year right before Christmas time.
Now let me ask you this, Nathan, and of course we're talking today about the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. If you could put a new host in, a fresh face that would have that kind of new innocence to it, who would you put in?
Who would put in the Macy's Day?
No. Who would host the dog show? Who would you replace him with now that he's too savvy?
Oh, well, I can't resist.
Chappelle?
Not these days, mister. I can't resist a fun lip sync from our friend from across the sea, across the pond, Mr. Jimmy Corden. Corden? Is that his name? James Corden? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I would love to see him do a little dance number with those little doggies.
I feel like you may get your wish someday, right? Doesn't that feel like just a logical next step if he was on a different network?
From cats to dogs.
Maybe a funny song with Jimmy Fallon and the Roots.
Well, it would have to be Fallon because, of course, those are both NBC.
That is true. So,
what if it's Questlove? What if you get him to host?
That would be the first hip hop dog show. I'm into that.
Okay. All right. So Questlove, if you're listening, start riding your agent for that dog show.
Yeah.
Plus, rap already talks a lot about bitches anyways. So
what if
not the Roots?
What if you got the octogenarian Snoop Dogg to do it in his old age?
Now that would be one laid back dog show. Am I right?
I was just in a convenience store and Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart are hawking a brand of lighters, Bic lighters.
Oh, God.
And it has Martha Stewart saying, "Great for lighting candles," and Snoop Dogg says, "and other things."
I like Snoop just as much as anyone, but come on, there is such a thing as Snoop saturation.
Well, disagree.
Okay.
I want him.
You were all in on his gospel album?
Oh, yeah. Okay. His weakest Snoop Lion? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Well, I'll never forget about it. Just like another event happening in New York City, the place where the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade is held. And today we're talking about the 64th annual parade in November 22nd, 1990. 90. I was taking
Good
you
year.
back in time.
Good year.
Great year. And this was a God, so many highlights. We've whittled this down. Of course, we're not going to talk about the entire multi-hour show.
No.
We've each picked 4 of our favorite moments from this parade. So,
Yes.
was it the first year of the Bart Simpson balloon? Yes, it was.
Okay.
Was it the first year of the Clifford the Big Red Dog balloon? Yes.
It was.
Was it the 12th time Kermit the Frog went down the streets of New York? Yes.
Was it? Okay. It was. Okay.
Yeah, it was. But we're not going to talk about all those things. We have a lot of other things that we can talk about on this. And we're going to start it off with you, Nathan.
My top moments.
Your top 4 moments on this parade, hosted by Willard Scott in Inside Edition's Deborah Norville.
I could not figure out who that was.
Deborah Norville also is wearing an outfit that looks like a deflated sumo suit. And I thought it was so weird until Willard Scott made reference to her being dressed for 2. Apparently she was pregnant at this time.
Okay.
And the very sensitive Willard Scott. Willard Scott
Sure
sucks, right? Like, I'm glad he didn't reach 100.
Cleveland's own, right?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, God. And the first
So you
Ronald
better watch your
McDonald.
back.
Yeah. His ghost is going to zap me.
And also,
No, not in Cleveland.
He's not from Cleveland?
No. Born in Virginia.
Where's he from?
Virginia.
All right, good. But was he a Ronald McDonald at one time or something?
He was the original Ronald McDonald when
That's
Ronald
right.
McDonald wore a box of food on his head and a cup on his nose.
But not he wasn't in Cleveland at all at any point?
He said, "I will never visit Cleveland." And then he
Never
spit on
work
the
in
floor.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Mark my words.
He said, "I'd sooner die before I hit 100 than visit Cleveland." And he did.
And then he did, yeah. I thought that because at some point he says Cleveland in this broadcast, and for some reason I was like, "Oh yeah, he's from Cleveland." Like that, just like for some reason that it's like I guess whenever anyone says the word Cleveland, I just go, "Oh yeah, they're from Cleveland."
Because they know all the local references, like the name of the town, you assume that they're local.
Oh yeah, I mean not many people know its original name of Cleveland.
Right.
So,
All right. I'm on pins and needles. What's your first pick, Nathan, for your choice?
So I want to preface this by saying that there were plenty of moments where it's fun to talk about, but I chose this. I chose a very boring way to do this, which is to pick things that I actually liked.
Oh, boo.
Sorry.
Boo.
So my first one is, hey, I'm not a granny clown. Don't boo me. Nice reference to this episode.
Great reference.
Thank you. Clap your hands. Kid and play performance.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear it.
Let's
hear a little bit of
this
it.
is mine time. This is my time.
Okay. You cue
This
me.
is me
You
time.
cue me, baby.
I will. Anytime there was hip hop on any show, I would rush into the room
Fully
and
erect.
say, "Turn that up, Daddy-O. I need to hear those young sounds, those young hip sounds. Move over, Pops." Go ahead, hit that cue.
For doing a brilliant job in New York City. That new rap sensation, Kid and Play. Now, these guys really know how to celebrate the good times, and they practice what they preach. So listen up and get a load of all that hair. Maybe they can help somebody that I know very well. Kid and Play, folks. They've got energy.
What's up?
Yeah. Kid and
That's right.
play.
Kid and Play. Now,
And they've got energy.
they've got energy. They are pure gangsters. Pure gangsters.
No one harder.
No one harder in the game. No, I always loved Kid and Play. They made good movies that I enjoyed, and I like this music.
And House Party had just come out this year. Big surprise hit.
Before the Thanksgiving?
Yes, I think that was a March release because I think they just dumped it in March because they were like, yeah, House Party, no one's going to see this. And it made like quadruple its budget.
That is always the case. Like, let's just make a black movie. There's no one in America who wants to watch a black movie. Is there?
So insulting. I know.
So it's like, there's no. Wait, are there? I know black people made this movie, but are there black people that go to movies? It's like, just lay these things out. They'll be massive hits. And good. Those are. Anyways, I like Kid and Play, and so that was my first. And I'm going these in order of appearance.
Sure.
So I don't have these as number one or anything like that.
Right. I'm a little worried that all you're going to say is I liked it with all these.
I'm so sorry to say, but no, I opened up with a really strong joke about
you did. I laughed.
The differences between old people and young people. Come on.
This wasn't, and Willard, of course, every host has to comment on Kid's hair, but this wasn't even the tallest I've seen the hair. Pretty demure hair on him at this one.
No, I was really disappointed.
And this, of course,
I wanted more hair.
Was the host bald?
Willard Scott is bald, yes.
Okay.
Famously.
Of course, and we should say that the first hour of watching the Thanksgiving Day Parade is just cameras set in front of the Macy's department store, and you're watching numbers from whatever is currently playing on Broadway. You're watching dance routines. Maybe there'll be a Kid and Play or two. And then, of course, sometimes there's a granny clown doing a routine from the Big Apple Circus. Granny Clown, one of the several canceled people on this broadcast. Granny Clown no longer clowning because they asked a 16-year-old to clown in their trailer when they were 43. Okay.
Oh, boy. Didn't know that. I was about to rail on cancel culture. I'm glad I saved my face. Save face there.
All right, so I'm back and forth on this. I'm mostly, I guess, picking things that I think were humorous or odd in my top picks, and I
knew you were gonna come hard, so I thought
I came to play.
Yeah, nice.
I am doing the opening number of
of
the parade. And one thing that's interesting when you watch a broadcast from years ago is you go, how have things changed in our society? How are things different? Are they different? Have we made progress? And I think in certain ways we really have. And what I'm going to do is, this is a visual thing, but I'm just going to play it right
Laura Davis. They're terrific performers, energetic girls, and lots of fun.
This is the opening
and they start us off today with a tribute to Thanksgiving Day, Western style.
Take it away, girls!
Now, when they say Western style... I'm going to have everyone out there guess what this might entail. Okay, so half of these dancing girls are dressed as kind of like your saloon girl, big dresses, and the other half have little teepees, and they are bursting out with full headdresses on and doing dance routines. Everyone is in outfits that look like ketchup and mustard. And let's just say there's a lot of Indian dancing going on with these girls, and boy, oh boy, it just keeps going and going. And I wanted to show this not only because it's such a collar puller now, obviously, but as I mentioned at the top of the show, Jeremy, how long have you and I known each other? Like 20 years now?
At least
20 years now. I know your whole family. You are the kindest, sweetest, funniest people you could ever want to meet. Most of you.
You're a gentle people.
When you were younger, and say a little bit of background about your family, if you don't mind.
My father is full-blooded Native American. He grew up on a reservation in Belcourt, North Dakota, Turtle Mountain Reservation, 20 miles south of the Canadian border.
And have you been out there to visit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We go there every other year.
Okay. When this sort of thing came on TV, I mean, was your family just like rolling their eyes, or were they pissed, or was it just laughing about it, or what was kind of, how did you guys deal with this crap?
My dad would mostly make jokes about it. Like,
Sure.
My dad was a very lighthearted guy, so he always tried to find the humor in it. But I think a lot of it did kind of bother him because the way they portrayed Native American is taming these like this savage society who are like, this like a unsophisticated type of like I don't know. I think you can kind of get where I'm going.
Yeah, we've all seen shows. Sure.
So yeah, and my dad was also somewhat protective of like what we watched. Like Bonanza wasn't a very like wasn't on heavy rotation in my household. Because I'm pretty sure underneath that big bucket hat that Haas would wear, I believe what he had underneath that was just pure prejudice. That's why we saw it rarely off of his head.
So, okay, that's interesting. But I'm sure your dad must have known people who weren't quite so lighthearted about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On the reservation, this was like, oof, very problematic.
Yeah.
To say the least. But, it's tough because I think we've only ever gone to the reservation one time during like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I do remember it being like, we never specifically said it was, everyone just said happy holiday. No one said happy Thanksgiving. No one like, there wasn't the same like decorations as there were in Ohio. So there was like no like little pilgrim hats and stuff like that. I noticed, or like little headdresses that they would make out of like construction paper that you would see in other people's households. So they're like it was mostly like, I think one time somebody said like happy harvest season or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, did your family do Thanksgiving?
We did, because my mom's side of the family, which is Lebanese, we celebrated Thanksgiving, but it was always, Thanksgiving is actually one of my favorite holidays because my mom's side of the family never knows what, after so many years, they still have no idea what to tell us. There's always that pause of like, happy, pause, wait for it, holidays. It's so funny to me because I know
mom married into the faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny watching them grapple with like, and they have no, like most of them are Lebanese people, so they have zero reason to feel any kind of guilt.
Sure.
But it's still like this like weird, they try to be as sensitive about it as possible, which I appreciate.
That's nice. Well, you won't find such manners here. Okay. No, thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate you. I was just curious because, I know the reaction I have. I just wondered if your household was just like, turn it off. This is not
Let's just say we didn't watch a lot of Western films.
Sure. Right.
In my household. So like, to me, growing up, John Wayne was kind of like the devil.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, the guy who played the devil. So,
who was the guy who played the devil? Tim Curry.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was like Tim Curry.
He was our household's Tim Curry.
John Wayne, the Tim Curry of the Native people. All right, Nathan, what's your next pick?
My next pick. When you said that's as your opening number, meaning your number one, because the opening number, it's not the Ed Sullivan in 5 minutes. Is that on your list?
It is not on my list.
Okay, good. Right.
That is the opening number of the whole shebang.
The whole thing. I got you. Okay. Yeah, I that's definitely not on my top list, but my next is,
for me, it's notable moments, not my favorite moments. Yeah. I'm like, I just want to be clear about that.
Don't listen to him. He loves these things. He has them on repeat. My next one is definitely The Guys Next Door as a live action Saturday morning TV fan. My Saved by the Belldom comes into play here. The Guys Next Door, a TV show in that same vein. I love these guys. You have a clip?
You have to set up with this. Nobody knows what this is but you.
So I can only remember a little bit of this, but it's like I remember the theme song, and I remember watching this because it was just part of, like it comes on like there was a whole tradition of these. It was like Saved by the Bell. I think City Guys might have been one of them. These guys, like I felt like all these guys were on in this same kind of California Dreams. All these live action. These are supposed to be teenagers, I guess, kind of, but they're also like 30-year-olds, in real life. But yeah, so these guys, I think they're a band in the show. Is that right? I can't fully remember all of the details.
I mean, you're the Guys Next Door fan here, but yeah, it is like the Monkees. They kept on trying to do a new Monkees for the 90s, where it's California Dream and a bunch of teenagers have a band. Guys Next Door, it's a bunch of guys, good-looking guys who live in one house and they have a singing group. The New Monkees, they're the New Monkees.
Yes, it says here on Wikipedia a combination of the New Kids on the Block and the Monkees. So this is like, this is the pop boy band version, which part of the Saturday morning lineup. And these TV shows suck. They're not good, but I loved them because, again, I loved seeing people who were supposed to be my age doing cool things that I never could do.
And by your age, you mean 23.
Yeah, I was 23 in 1990 in 8th grade.
And there are guys who was like, the bad boy, the goofball, Plain Jane. And
the black guy.
That's right.
Basically.
Everyone. Yeah. So here's a little clip from The Guys Next Door, and they are on a float, which made only one appearance in the history of this parade, Huck Finn's Abandoned Island.
Adventure and fun on Huck Finn's deserted island is a hot new singing group. I mean hot, The Guys Next Door. They have a super sound and they star in their own NBC Saturday morning show. And I'm sure that you teenage girls over there wouldn't mind having one of these great-looking guys living next door to you. Oh, boo-boo. Take it away, Rosedale.
Not my style. I'd rather be wild. Late at night I see.
So The Guys Next Door on a float that looks like a tree house built in the South, and there are children with big straw hats on it. And the Guys Next Door are just kind of bopping around and walking up and down stairs. Boy, look at that oversized Raiders jacket.
Oh, I love that. Love a Raiders jacket.
Now, we're about to have a person who, by association, seems like they're a big fan of what the Guys Next Door are playing. Here she is. That's Raven Simone on what I believe is a giant snail, and she is bopping away to beat the band. Now she's getting up and she's twerking. She's clapping her little butt cheeks together.
She was an early twerker.
Early twerker.
Big Bird flies. Animated puppets do tricks on a float.
Yeah.
The most famous people in this, the Patrick J. Dancy, who is the black character, the actor, he was on Family Matters. He played Ted on Family Matters for for a year and was I can't remember if he was exactly who he was on there. If he was like Laura's boyfriend or can't remember exactly, but that's what I recognize him for the most. But then there's also Damon Sharp, who is also on this in this cast, and he has a huge long list of song production, over 40 million copies. You know, everyone from Jennifer Lopez, Ariana Grande, Pitbull, and so on. Like he's
a producer. Or he's a singer.
It just says a contributor too, so I don't know. It doesn't actually say, like, it just says he's worked with them. It looks like he's written some songs.
Like catering.
He's gone on to do a lot, though I don't think you would just know him unless you were a person who looked at liner notes.
Right. Or, of course, a Guys Next Door superfan like you.
Oh, like me.
All right, my number 2 pick is the man serenading the quick bunny. And what I mean by that is there's a gentleman, and I'm so sorry I didn't catch his name. He's in a musical, and he's singing a song, one of those old sappy songs called Time to Remember. And you can tell... Sorry, let me back up. He's standing on a rooftop above the parade. He's not in the parade. So he is probably on one of the top floors of the Macy's building. And he's about to sing this big Broadway ballad. And the camera person has obviously told him, look out over the city before you start singing, like you're thinking wistfully of a person that you love, and then turn to the camera and start singing. The problem is that when they cut to him, he's looking out over the street, and it looks as though he is looking directly at the quick bunny balloon. So when he turns around and starts singing, it sounds like he's singing a love song to a rabbit. Now, this, of course, is visuals. Yeah. So he's looking straight at that rabbit, and he's making a face when he turns around such as, oh, God, it's going to look like I am in love with the quick rabbit. The camera person senses what's happening, and he starts zooming in on the guy's face to get the quick rabbit out of the shot. And the guy's singing on, and as he's singing, the quick rabbit's getting closer, and his big head just looms into the shot over the guy's shoulder. And the guy turns around again and sees the rabbit again and looks even more angry.
Yeah, this freaking song.
I'm sorry. He looks over, and they follow his eye line, and they just go straight to the rabbit's face, and then they get out of it as quickly as possible.
They have to be absolutely freaking out in the live booth.
Oh, God. And
what do we do? Where do we cut to?
This poor guy, obviously, after it was done, is like, well, no one will ever see it again.
Cut to 20, 30 years later.
Yeah.
Is this the one that's from the show The Fantastics?
I believe that's
something.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
I couldn't remember his name either, but man, that freaking voice. Ooh, boo, 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 boo.
Yeah, it really is a reminder that all ages, they have to appeal to all ages on this show. So they have some real sleepy entertainment as well as stuff that would appeal to kids. I mean, the entire Broadway show clip run that you get at the beginning of the show is just Boomers the musical, right?
Oh my god.
You have a Buddy Holly musical. You have Forever Plaid, which is like a 50s jukebox musical.
Ed Sullivan jokes.
Yes, Ed Sullivan jokes. You have the Mary Martin Peter Pan style production.
Dancing Nuns.
Oh God, yes, right. Nonsense, another 1950s style show.
That is like I still see advertised.
Nonsense.
Yes,
oh,
and
yeah.
as it's a laugh freaking riot. Like you would just lose your mind if you went to this thing.
Also, it's unfortunate, but this year for the people in the Macy's parade, they had given silver stars for them to wear. And unfortunately, when you put it on a big black coat, it looks as though you are a Jew during the Holocaust.
Well, now I don't feel so bad for my people. They got a little something for everybody in this thing.
Okay, so yes, Man in Love with the Quick Bunny. That's my next pick. Nathan,
That's a good one.
what do you got? What do you got coming up for me?
Now, you know me.
I do. I
And
know you pretty
know
well.
I love a giant New York pizza pie. I'm a huge, huge fan of pizza pie.
Yeah.
So, it only makes sense that I would love this next act.
Hmm.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, man. Should we hear their introduction right now?
Play that track.
Oh, I was looking at the Big Panther. They're lean and green and buoyant than ever on the scene. Direct from their constant appearance in Los Angeles, it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles band, Cowabunga. Hey, these heroes on half shell love their pizza, and the motto of their national tour is, you do more good with music than with weapons. So keep up the good work, you dudes.
With you, and that you'll be okay.
Now, the Turtles are in the full coming out of their shells costumes, which means that, you know, there's like the movie. They look a little bit more like the movie style Turtles. But for whatever reason, they decided to give the Turtles all of the teeth they had in the warehouse. Yeah. And they can never close their mouths. So they just look like they are insanely grinning it all the time. Like the Joker's victims, and they are wearing costumes. How would you describe their costumes? There's cut-off jean vests. There's glitter.
Just enough cloth to cover the shell, kind of like everything.
Yeah.
You can see tons of arms, tons of leg. I don't know. I feel like,
And their groin. They have little loincloths on too.
yeah. Now here's something I wonder about. Now, for those who don't know, at one point, Ian Black of The State and Stella, and he says that he at one time was in the touring company of the TMNT show, and every time I see them, I always wonder, is he in this costume?
I'd love to hear. I would pay for an evening just hearing him talk about his time on tour with the Turtles.
Right, and I don't know to what extent he was with them, if he was just with them in a city or if he actually was on tour or whatever. But it sounds, but yeah, I would love to know if he was at this. I feel like he would mention it, but yeah, I love this era of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So this music comes from a tape that they released. I can't remember what it's called. Is it called Turtle? What is it called? You said.
Is it not coming out of their shells?
Yes, coming out of our shells, and you would get this tape at Pizza Hut. And
we got there,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen.
Well, also they're big pizza fans. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's not number one about these dudes. But don't ever put anchovies on there, because Michelangelo will have some harsh words for you.
What did they shove down the grate? Was it Domino's they shoved down the grate in the first movie?
I think so. Yeah.
Because nothing makes me want pizza more than a pizza being pushed down a city sewer grate.
So this tape, I know every word. I know every word to every song. I still have it. Sometimes I listen to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have it on my iPhone. Sometimes I listen to the song very fondly. I don't understand why they're playing this song during the show. Why they wouldn't play like Pizza Power or something that's, they're doing this song, You Can Count on Us, which it's a song they sing like to April in the storyline of this thing.
That was the song that they would play during the ads, because they used to play the ads for them coming to Cleveland on a loop, and this was the song they would play in the background.
Yeah, there was like I never saw the live show. I guess I think I have a video of it, but I haven't watched it yet. But it's like there's like a through line, like a story that hits through. So each song kind of matches part of the story of what's happening. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of this, and I love the teeth. I gotta say, I love the freaking teeth. Oh yeah,
this is
that's that John Cougar Mellencamp sound.
Yeah, / like very light Van Halen.
Yeah.
Poison.
Yeah.
Now, this, of course, is the song that fascinates me, which is Skipping Stones.
Yeah, Skipping Stones.
Master Splinter, of course, the rat who speaks like a old, wizened Mr. Miyagi character. Mm-hmm. He has a song in this, and, of course, he sings exactly the way that you would think he might. Is this one of those songs that has an 8-minute intro to it?
It's coming out here. No, there's one more. This one more loop here.
I think this is a spoken word at some point.
Standing in water looks like
glass.
And just let people hear this for a minute.
World of blue is what I see. It's smooth and flat.
Sorry, do we get to the chorus soon? Because I want people to hear this chorus. I know we can't play this whole thing, but okay.
There's no bridge if you're wondering.
Okay.
Set it free, I'm standing. Keep on, skipping stones.
Let's skip forward here.
Beautiful.
Keep on, skipping stones.
Now, oddly enough, he sounds a lot like one of the other turtles, just breathy.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't play this song, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. There's a lot of good jams on there, especially Tubin, which is all about sewer surfing.
Yeah. All right. Anything more you want to say about our buddies? The Teethy Turtles?
No. I just that I love them. They'll always be in my heart.
So for my next pick, sometimes some of my ultimate moments in these parades are when you see something come across the screen and you are flummoxed as to what it is you're looking at. And my next pick is a little guy named Freud. Freud, spelled Foyd. For a second, you'll see him. He's not a balloon. He's not a float. He is a yellow costumed character. And we see him for a minute smiling and waving. And I'm going to play the clip that follows immediately from you seeing Freud on the camera.
Is Freud, and that stands for friend of your dreams. Kind of an ugly guy, but I guess he's so ugly he's cute.
I like noses. I've always liked noses.
Well, he's
Like
got
Jimmy
a
Durante. Everybody wants to get into the act.
Okay, that's it. I don't know how much they paid to have Freud walk in this parade, but the only thing that's going to be said about him is, boy, is he ugly. Now, Nathan, I've just sent you an image in chat of Freud. Take a look at him. He looks like either a sad bee with a huge nose or a very flaccid bulbous penis that's walking around. He also kind of looks like a droopy version of those statues of sad children with no genitals that were really big in the 70s. And so this is 1990.
So
I've never heard of Freud. I have, this is the first thing I've ever seen of him, and it's in this parade. And so, of course, I became immediately obsessed with learning as much as I could about him. Freud is F-R-O-Y-D, which stands for reality of your dreams. For reality of your dreams. And the only instance besides this eBay doll that I've sent you, and by the way, if you want to own your own Freud, you can get it for under $25 right now, not including shipping. Definitely worth it. I found one mention of it, and it is a 1991 article in Inc. magazine where they interview Carolyn Green, the inventor of Freud. She started this doll line in 1979. She was a fashion designer, and she started just going from place to place trying to sell this doll. And her like real estate mogul husband, they both spent what is now over $1 million of their own money to make prototypes and costumes. She just go from place to place. And this interview is talking to this poor woman after 11 years of trying to get Freud to catch on in America. They talk to her and she's in Bloomingdale's just trying to get kids to take free buttons, and never made it. This was the most exposure Freud ever got. And the host says, "Oh yeah, it's kind of ugly."
And I was trying to figure this out. Like, I was trying to figure out if it was a character from the preceding like whatever balloon was in front of it or something. And then I was thinking, and then it kind of made me think of like a Popeye character or something, like Popeye would have like who's that one like guy with the weird looking, like a big, huge, giant guy with big, huge arms.
Bluto?
No, not Bluto.
His enemy?
There was like this weird character that was like an alien kind of a character.
The Goon?
Yeah, something like that. Like,
Yeah.
made me think of something like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
But no, and when you try to look up Freud, Google is like, no, we know that you mean Sigmund Freud. We know that's what you want. You couldn't possibly be looking up Freud.
That's the other thing, is maybe don't name your children's doll after a doctor associated with sex.
With your mother.
Now, her other, when they interview her, she had a plan of a talk show hosted by Freud. And it would be animated, called Friday Night Freud on Saturday Morning, featuring more of her original characters. And I wish I knew more about them. I only know their names. There's the Princess of Procrastination.
Okay.
Dr. IMI, which stands for It's My Idea.
Okay.
HOG, which stands for Hot on Girls.
Okay.
And Buzz Humming Nerd.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I felt bad for her because even though she has this rich husband and she's living in a Manhattan apartment, I'm sure she's still more successful and better looking than I am. Because my father, when I was growing up, worked in American Greetings, and American Greetings at that time was making Care Bears, Mad Balls, My Pet Monster, Strawberry Shortcake. It was a toy hit factory. And so people who had a dream to make their own toy would approach my dad about their idea. And so many of these people, I think just in the 80s, it was easier to go about business the wrong way. So they had already sunk tons of money into making prototypes and paying people and making a line. And you just knew you're just dumping your money down the toilet because toy companies, they have a room full of people to make this stuff. They don't need you to make it. Like in that Toys We Grew Up With special on Netflix, whatever that's called. You hear about how they made He-Man villains. It was like, I worked in sales. I was like, who would He-Man villain be? Stinkor. Stinks bad. Yeah, so we did that. It's like, that's all it takes. They don't need you. Poor Freud, his brief moment in the sun. That's my third pick. And now we come to your final pick. Ooh, actually, producer Jeremy, can you pause us for a minute in your notes? Because I accidentally was so hot to look up Freud. I accidentally closed out of our video. Are you asleep in there? Yeah. 5, 4. Is that you or Jeremy?
That's me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what is that?
Sorry.
What is that? Let's see. Okay. Go back to recording now. So, Nathan, what is your fourth and final pick for 1990?
My fourth and final earnest pick is the R&B band, The Boys. A couple of young fellas from the other side of the tracks. I feel like is how they would always introduce R&B boy bands. Full black R&B boy bands. Like I feel like it was always like that. And they had a song on MTV called Crazy. And in this video, they're all really young, and they all do parodies of other famous videos like George Michael's Faith and Bobby Brown's My Prerogative. And the song was one of my favorites, and I was happy to see them on this. It made me feel very nostalgic and like a sweet young boy in my prime.
Play it?
Play the clip.
Thrown up in the air. Right behind him sailing in is Macy's classic clipper ship. It's on it is a group of people who are so hot that folks are comparing them to the Jackson 5. They're known as the Boys, and they're celebrating the spirit of the holiday with a song inspired by the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Boys? Little New Jack Swing.
Oh, one of the best eras of R&B. Sorry.
I mean, it really sounds like This Girl Is Poison, but with Martin Luther King.
It's beautiful. The one thing that I loved about this, the clip you just played, is it showcased one of the issues going on in this broadcast of they would introduce an act and you would hear everything before it happening at the same time, and it sounded like they didn't know they were supposed to start, and then it would sound like a mashup of whatever high school band was before them and then whatever was coming. And you can hear it in this.
This is a little bit like your complaint in Got High on Yourself when the microphones would go next to a person's mouth that was singing and you heard him too loud. You don't like your songs blended.
No, I like those paper plates that have separators. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I actually did not remember the Boys at all, so I looked them up. They had 4 albums, which all became decreasingly popular, and
good.
Is that true?
Decreasingly good, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I think they're like they got better and better, but the public just could not accept them.
And they changed their name to the Sons of Light. I think SUN.
Yes, they are now called the Sons of Light. They live in Africa, and I was reading their bios that they very obviously wrote themselves because there's a lot of spelling errors. And
okay.
There was something about the way everything was worded, and I was like, this seems a little culty in the phrasing. And I looked it up, and they have all changed their names to different kind of ethereal things, and they are very into selling you spiritual home lifestyle products. That is what they seem to be pushing very hard on their website. So the Boys, still in town, still ready to sell you some stuff.
Yeah, I guess that appearance in 1990 at the Macy's Day Parade did not set them up well enough that now they are on the home healing path.
I also, since we touched on Pizza Hut, I was really afraid that Michael Jackson was not going to come up in this episode, and yet she brought us back home saying that they were the next Jackson 5. Now, as long as somebody brings up Disney World, we'll be 3 for 3. But we've come, hopefully it'll happen. But before that happens, this is nearer to the end of the parade. They're saving the best for last. Of course, the parade always ends with Santa Claus. I don't know how they get him every year, but somehow they get him. But how do you possibly drum people up to the glory of Santa Christ? And that is with an impressionist who will make us all laugh, named Fred Travellina. Here he is.
Hey, listen, doesn't that gingerbread house look good enough to eat? Well, we're going to have to wait until impressionist Fred Travellina does his number, because Fred has some rockin' nursery rhymes for you. And here's a hint. Look out for some real celebrity.
Now, he said rockin' nursery rhymes. He is on a big gingerbread float. And Fred Travellina is going to do some impressions for you. Now, if you were afraid that you wouldn't know who he was doing an impression of, don't worry. Fred will tell you who he is doing an impression of every single time.
Children's times mean nursery rhymes. This is the way they should go. Michael Caine. London Bridge is falling down, falling on Dudley.
London Bridge is falling where? On me? I hate when that happens. Hello, Dr. Ruth. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. Hooray! It's
Pause this real quick. Do you think in his live shows he sets this up? He goes, "Have you ever thought to yourself,
Yes.
what would it sound like if Dr. Ruth sang 'It's a Small World'? I think it would go a little something like this." Hit that track.
Also, that's the worst Michael Caine I've ever heard. London Bridge is falling down.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president.
Here we go.
Sound problem? Very simple. You put your right foot in prudently, your right foot out, then you put your left foot in. Hopefully not in your mouth. All right.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Well, and hello.
Remember in that last episode, whenever I did my Reagan impression, I just went, well, he's doing it. He got in the
He's got
Macy's
it.
parade.
Hello, Rocky.
Yo, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
I love this nursery rhyme.
The sound of it.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
I can say it backwards. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Hey, yo,
Cause here on
nailed
the
it.
12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a sit in the pear tree, man.
Is it Bill Cosby?
What's he doing?
Yeah, that was supposed to be cause.
Folks, happy holiday. Daffy, say happy holiday.
Oh my gosh.
All right, see you, Fred. He's mercifully being taken away now. Every public domain impression. Here, the thing with impressions, people who do impressions now, I feel like you get known for doing one or two. If you have a really great take, or you just absolutely nail the impression. 1990, a simpler time. You could just, well, not gonna do it. Hey, yo, Adrian.
Michael Caine.
Hey. Yeah.
Coming up
thank
next,
you.
my impression of this person.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I did no big. To be honest with you, watching that Fred Travellina kind of drained me of any humor I had in my system.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, impressionists, like it's just a magic trick, right? It's not funny. It's a magic trick. It's only funny when it's not perfect, like when it's done like.
Well,
I don't know. I feel like impressionists
some-
don't write jokes.
You have to write something funny to say.
Yeah.
You can't just go out there and do it. Like you have to also make a joke.
I feel like there's only like two people I can think of that I'm like every time they do one I laugh and it's funny, but it's because they're doing jokes. They're doing like
Yeah,
they're
material.
doing things. They're not just saying the name of the person, which is how I do impressions. I just say the name of the person in their voice.
Well, thankfully, Barry Manilow was directly after Fred, and he calmed everyone down. He was the balm of the show.
Would you like to hear my best impression?
This was a long game to set you up to do your
Thank you.
famous run of impressions. Yes.
So this is my best impression of any actor, any famous person. It's very specific, and it will only make sense to you if you have watched Dexter, the TV show.
Well, I look
this is
forward
my
to
impression.
being in the dark.
This is my impression of the character. I think his name was Angel Batista. I can't remember exactly what his name was.
Angel Batista. Okay.
He's the Hispanic cop who works alongside Dexter. And this is
good.
him saying Dexter's name.
Jeremy, you might want to mark this time before Nathan does his Hispanic impression.
It's not strong. It's just what it's exactly what he sounds like. Are you ready? Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Picture yourself in a police station.
Okay.
And you are trying to say the name of your blood spatter expert, who is also a serial killer. Dexter Morgan. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Nailed it. Here, I'll do it again.
Yep. Yeah, you nailed it.
Dexter Morgan. There it is.
Okay.
Watch the show. You'll know.
I'll be sure to do that. Actually, Dexter is one of those shows that I watched the first 2 episodes. I was like, oh, this is terrible. And then somebody said, like, oh, they did the thing where, like, you got to get to season 4.
4.
Oh, good. I'll watch 3 seasons of something I don't like with all the spare time I have to get to the thing that's good.
Eventually, John Lithgow shows up.
I'll be so worn down.
I gotta find out. Like, that was a show where at some point I was happy with just reading the Wikipedia summaries.
Okay.
And that got me through the rest of the show.
Of course, we can't live in the past. We have. Do you want to hear the new? Yeah, I know you do. You want to hear the new balloons that are coming for this year?
Oh, can we say our favorite balloons?
From history?
From this episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Do you want to do that before hearing the new ones? Jeremy, feel free to cut this back and forth out.
No, leave it in.
Sure. Do you have the list of balloons open from 1990?
I have a favorite balloon.
Oh, well then.
It is definitely the Ronald McDonald upside down, legs overhead, whatever he's doing. That balloon is awesome. It's tall, like it somehow it floats still. It works. I loved it.
Ass in the air, Ronald.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's yours? What's your favorite one?
From this year, it's probably, I always enjoyed seeing the camera they stuck in Spider-Man.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. They'll cut to Spider-Man. Next, now this coming Thanksgiving, of course, the brand new balloons. You have Netflix's Ada Twist, Scientist. I'll pretend I knew who that is. We got Grogu, Baby Yoda himself.
Grogu, of course.
Grogu.
You gotta have Grogu.
Grogu.
Yeah, you gotta have Grogu.
We got Pikachu and Eevee in a sled.
Classics.
And I know a lot of times, people can say, oh, there's no original stuff. Well, there's 2 original property balloons in Macy's. Get ready to fall in love with them. It is Tiptoe the reindeer and Tony the band leader bear. Get ready to fall in love.
Tony the band leader bear.
Yes. Now, the one piece of big disappointment I have with Macy's this year, balloon-wise, is one of the balloons on the site is Acorn. And I said,
Acorn?
This seems like they took it from the Ice Age balloon of that little rat that runs after the acorn. Like the Ice Age people didn't cough up money for this year. Sure enough, the old balloon was that squirrel chasing this acorn, and they just got rid of the squirrel.
So it's just a floating acorn.
It's just an acorn.
No googly eyes or anything.
Honey, get in here. The acorn is coming.
I would love to be in the apartment.
Oh, like in Miracle on 34th Street?
Flies by.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a little girl who doesn't believe in Santa Claus and then an acorn comes by, well, maybe go change your mind.
Yeah.
Well, I think Thanksgiving dinner is almost ready. I can hear the turkey popper exploding and releasing all of its juices all over the inside of my oven, if you know what I mean. So I think we have to get going here. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful dinner. If you like this podcast, you should subscribe on every platform. You should go and write a 5-star review everywhere you can. And follow us on everything. We're on TikTok.
Yeah.
We're on Facebook. We're
That's
on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting hungry, so I can't concentrate.
Soon to be on the Truth platform, the Donald Trump social media platform. At least for a week until it shuts down.
And of course, we will be starting a Kickstarter to get the two of us to have a network special float.
Yes.
Which will have the two of us.
And a CGI special.
Well, yes, that's a little bit... that the float is to promote our CGI movie that we're putting together. But of course, we'll have the network special float where it's Nathan and I, and we're standing in a big TV. We're singing the theme songs to our past shows. We're singing Get High on Yourself.
Yep.
We're singing...
we're humming the music from Bad Ronald.
Yep. Well, and of course, our big head characters are walking around. Bad Ronald is there. The Zulu Idol.
Atreya.
Yes, the Zulu Idol doll
Atlanta.
from Trilogy of Terror is there.
The Zuni fetish doll.
And who is that flying above us as a big balloon? But it's our own producer, Jeremy, waving down, spreading.
I'm chasing that acorn.
In a Native American headdress.
And he's saying everything is A-OK now.
My family finally figured out what to say to me.
Everyone, have a wonderful Thanksgiving or happy holidays or whatever you're doing. We love you. Bye.